Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
I am very happy to welcome you and invite you for the talks Pani Pe Charcha or the Clean Water Talk series that will be held under the ambit of SEWA, Sustainable Enterprises for Water and Health, a program initiated under the guidance of USAID. I am Poonam Sevak, your host, Vice President Programs and Partnerships at Safe Water Network. Mr. Anand Rudra, the WASH sector specialist from USAID, has joined us. And actually, Mr. Anand Rudra needs no introduction. We all know him very well, but speaking very briefly about him, he has been working with USAID for last 30 years, bringing lots of advancement and innovations to WASH, not only in India, but he's also providing strategic programmatic support on cross-cutting urban development initiatives to South Asian missions. And he is the driving force behind the Project SEWA. So I would like Mr. Anand to speak briefly. Mr. Anand, over to you.
Thank you so much, Poonamji, Dr. Parag, for basically starting off the series that we actually believe allows us to showcase what SEWA is all about. Parag, it couldn't have been better to kick off the series with you to make the foundation and the way this all is making sense, not just as a development partner project, not just like an NGO entrepreneurship effort, but overall a business acumen. It's basically a business sense. It doesn't matter. And that's one of the things I think, Poonamji, I think you would be obviously very much be aware of the fact that one of the questions we asked our partners right in the beginning is, does this make business sense? Is there a return of investment? A return of investment is just not about the money part. It's the return of investment of the buy-in of your stakeholder, of your corporate, of your city, of your government, of your lot of people who are part and parcel of this life cycle of water. There are people who buy water. There are people who sell water. There are people who consume water. So it's not just one part of the team that we say like, okay, this person is there, so my cycle is over. So Dr. Parag, as always, a fabulous way of a presentation. I envy the way you make the presentations so lively. It makes it very enviable, not just for the fact of the style, but the fact that you make things which were looking a little improbable, looking very simple. So I think that's a great opportunity for all our team, and we are very proud to have you as part of the SEWA family. Poonamji, as always, it's great that this series is kicking off. What better way that you have already given us an opportunity, Dr. Parag, wow, which is the thing to basically see not just at one place, but it is moving around. So I think this appeals to me. I'm a development partner. This appeals to me. I'm an NGO partner. This appeals to the government because their word goes around. And this appeals to me as a corporate.
With this, I would like to introduce you to Dr. Parag Agrawal, who's the expert speaker for the talks today. Dr. Parag Agrawal is the founder and CEO of Janajal with rich entrepreneurial experience of 35 years. He has received global recognition for innovation and demonstrating sustainability in the social sector. He was honorary doctorate for social work and impact in 2020 from US. And he holds a Bachelor in Commerce degree from Pune University. Actually, we have been working with Dr. Parag Agrawal since long, and he really does not need any introduction. His innovation, Water on Wheels today, we have heard about it, but the objective of the talks today is that he walks all the sector people together so that we understand how If we have to bring safe water on a social scale, can it be brought? He is the founder of Janajal, the organization which was set up in 2013 in New Delhi. They operate with 750 water ATMs pan India and have strategic operations in Singapore, UAE, UK, and USA. Janajal has developed a JJ suite, a unified tech platform to supervise, control, and manage decentralized water treatment plants. Janajal has been approved by the Ministry of Jal Shakti under the Har Ghar Jal program. It operates on green energy, brings livelihood, and is a very, very innovative social distribution model. With this, I will ask Dr. Agrawal to speak to the audience and walk us through Water on Wheels.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Poonamji. It is such an honor to be here today. Thank you for the kind invitation to speak to everybody and present Janajal Wow, what we believe can become the world's largest shared water economy. It can become the tool for implementing the world's largest shared water economy.
Janajal is building ATM clusters and has also started Water on Wheels. It's a mobile water ATM built on a battery-operated vehicle to provide potable water on-demand service.
Janajal suite is basically built around managing water smartly and remotely. Janajal as a whole been contributing to water crisis because they have been able to track what kind of water is consumed by the people, and accordingly they've been able to collaborate with the local bodies on water supply. They have been also detect what % of water has been used and what % of water has been waste accordingly. Wow, Water on Wheel. It goes around such places where people are facing water crisis and people are not getting a hygienic drinking water. So Wow is not just receiving the water crisis but also giving people a hygienic drinking water.
Also, Janajal is an alternative to water bottle which comes in plastic bottle. Instead of buying plastic bottle again and again, we can use Janajal ATMs and Wow for existing water bottle to refill, so that reduce the plastic use, which also means that less plastic will go into dump as well. To build a sustainable community wherein the present resources are shared efficiently through an effective supply chain to reduce the impact of first buy and throw culture. This is how we see Wow is in balancing great medium to reduce the colossal use of plastic, where plastic are becoming a hurdle for the depletion of ecosystem.
So that was a brief, that was a small sneak preview into the operations which we especially since 2020, since the lockdown really happened. Okay, so basically the emphasis, as far as we are concerned, we emphasize on the word technology-enabled water services solution, and each word in this line is of emphasis: technology-enabled services, solutions, and to resolve the safe water crisis, to address it. I mean, I wish we could resolve it, but to address it. And as we go into this presentation, we will highlight the reason why we are emphasizing on each of these words. What is Janajal Wow? So it is a unique custom-built electric vehicle, and we've recently also developed a CNG-powered three-wheeler to develop safe water to the doorstep of households. It is very important for everyone here to understand the choice of first EV and then CNG, simply because we wanted to stay on the ESG compliance, in the ESG compliant mode, the non-emitting, non-polluting, and absolutely conducive for the environment. I mean, and that is very, very important at every step. We've been sensitive to other aspects surrounding a particular operation. So this is not just another gadi which is just delivering water to homes. Safe water through no touch and cashless transacting. This is something that we embarked upon in 2017, in 2016, long before I think demonetization was announced in India in 2018, if my memory serves me right. But we always envisioned the need for cashless transacting, and then we invested in building the JJ Suite, which is the technology backbone. In line with that understanding, in line with that belief, in line with the anticipation that eventually coins, cash are going to become a more and more difficult proposition as far as logistics of managing those are concerned. And that actually held us in good stead. Today, you saw in the video, there were some touchscreen operations. Even those touchscreen operations have now been graduated to a single QR code scan operation. And we will get to that again later, a little later in this. But now somebody can actually walk up with their bottle, scan the QR code using their own phone, choose their SKU, dispense from it, pay from it, receive the water and walk away. There is no need for any kind of touch, whether by the operator, with the system, nothing. So therefore, the system is completely, let's call it COVID compliant as well, or anti-COVID compliant. All the vows are monitored in the real time through GPS, quality monitoring sensors, IoT devices connected to cloud through GPRS and Wi-Fi. This is something which, again, we've had to really go down the development path. So, you know, as a water company, we went into technology, IT development. We got down to doing all this. We tried to work with existing hardware, existing solutions available in the market since 2016. But we realized that they all had limitations. When I say limitations, they basically had, they were not built with the services focus. When you have a services focus, your needs are entirely different. I keep saying this, my favorite example to highlight this aspect is the fact that Vodafone, despite being such a prominent global telecom company, does not manufacture mobile phones. And then there is an Apple, which is the world's largest mobile company, does not run telecom networks. So services and hardware are entirely different as chalk is from cheese. And we chose to become the Vodafone or Airtel or AT&T of the water sector right from the beginning. So is baat ko samajhna is very, very important to, because for us, that is who we are. And therefore we built all of this, and all the Jal Jeevan vows are GPS monitored, their lat-long coordinates, their route mapping. They can actually even be pin code wise. They can actually be calibrated for price of dispensing and so on and so forth. So technology is at the fulcrum of this entire solution. Immediate sustainable self-employment opportunity with investment of rupees 1 lakh only. In today's context, in today's environment, in this era of joblessness globally, not just in India, I think this is a very important moot point. We are talking to agencies, we are talking to DFIs, we are talking to MFIs, we are talking to banks, we are talking to even private sector companies who can extend debt financing to individuals who can own and operate these vehicles. It is very important, and the ROI, we'll get into the financials of this also, you know, as we go further. But it's a very sustainable, financially feasible, and it galvanizes microeconomies at the smallest and the levels. So people who are now returning back, the reverse migration that is taking place, and people are now wanting jobs, you know, their families want them to stay around. They can actually now get a gainful employment opportunity or self-employment opportunity through this model. The capacity of the tanks is about approximately 600 liters. Again, we use the word, the sign of approximate, because it sometimes varies depending on the chassis that are used and the payload factors, so on and so forth. And the mobility range that we are now being able to get with the lithium-ion batteries is up to 80 kilometers for every single charge. So therefore, this is a very, very highly sustainable. 80 kilometers is a lot if it has to be operating in a range or a radius of 5 kilometers from a particular plant. So it can very comfortably deliver the kind of turnarounds and the trips that are expected on a daily basis. The CNG variant is available in the urban environments. Wherever there are CNG refilling stations, the CNG variant does become a more reliable, and I'm not saying this to downsize EV, but CNG is definitely a vehicle powered by an engine versus a vehicle powered by a motor. You know, they have their own levels of torque and, you know, the ability to motor along. Plus the range with a full tank of CNG can get up to 170 kilometers. This concept is supported by India's leading automobile companies for sales, service, and spares throughout the term of operations. This is a very, very important factor. This has always been one of the key factors to enabling the large-scale implementation of the WOW. And as we go further, again, we will talk more about this. Can we move to the next, please? This is just a visual glimpse of how exactly the WOWs are expected to operate. They obviously do not have any water treatment system on their back. They're always carrying treated water. So where are they receiving the treated water from? So they are receiving the treated water from the water treatment plants, which are either installed anew or the existing plants which may be there. We already have partners. We've already got 2 strong MOUs executed with other private sector SWEs who've got large footprints in India, almost 300 systems each. And with them, between them, we've got about 650 systems, and we are talking about 4,000 WOWs that can potentially be implemented just to utilize their capacity. So this is where, and the entire operation, so starting with the existing water treatment plant, the static plant, as well as the WOW, everything is hinging on to the tech platform, which is in the middle of this entire, as you see, Janajal, the cloud. And that is where we are able to remotely monitor, supervise, and control the operation, optimize the operations on ground very, very effectively and efficiently. Data is, it's a buzzword. A lot of people have different connotations it has to different people, but complete data provided to all stakeholders. This is a very, very important. If you look at the screen, this is a screenshot of an actual of the kind of data that is generated from the WOW for every transaction. As you can see, there is the pH level, there is the TDS level, even the water availability. What is that water available in the tank? Therefore, the guidance is given to the operator at all times of where they should go for deliveries, depending on the kind of quantity they also have on their back. So it's not that they are pushed to go very far, knowing that they have only 85 liters. And they may not be able to serve that community, which has to be catered to with 400 liters. So all this adds up to better optimization and output. The temperature of the water, turbidity, latitude, longitude, date and time stamp. And further, there is also financial data. Everything is captured in a very transparent manner. Digital payments, it's a very, very, as we call it, a zero leakage model. It's a very agile navigation system. Like I said some time ago, even through pin codes, we can navigate. So for example, if we are dispensing water in Khoda colony, which is largely occupied by people belonging to the economically weaker section, and there we are trying to make water available at 50 paisa per liter, the WOWs operating over there will not be able to come out of there into, for example, Ghaziabad and dispense water at a higher price. The dispensers will be shut off. That is the power of technology, and that is the benefit of technology that passes on to all the stakeholders down to the consumers. Consumer-wise data, this last point is very important because what we are also getting is individual consumer data based on the UID of their number, when they're using their mobile phone for scanning and making payments, whether they're using RFID cards, in whatever form of transacting, save and accept cash. So the WOW does not dispense for cash. It is very important to understand that. So even if there's somebody wanting to pay cash, they would have to pay cash to the operator, and the operator will then use his or her dispensing card, RFID card, to dispense the water from the WOW. Therefore, every transaction is getting recorded and logged on the back end. As you can see, the capex of the WOW is currently estimated at 450,000 rupees. 4.5 lakh rupees ka ye ek figure hai. This is including GST, this is including taxes, registration, insurance, all these aspects. Further, the assumption here, so is at 450,000, the selling price would be at rupees 1 per liter. 1 rupee per liter is the cap at which we would dispense. We are assuming, if you see on the left bottom of the screen, the assumptions is we are talking about a minimum daily volume of 1800 liters per day. You know, we spent a lot of time in the last 3 years of extensive time and motion studies. We've done extensive piloting, prototyping, to humne kiya hi hai, but even piloting, we've deployed them in different environments, seen how the wow can circle back, you know, empty out into a community and then come back. And as you've seen also in the video, we've seen that wherever she goes, there are people who are queuing up with their containers, waiting for it to arrive. In fact, very often there is pressure on the operator, ki bhai, please come back very soon. We are going to be waiting here for you. And by the time he gets back, there is already, the queue has already tripled. And then the demand is clearly established. But so the point I was trying to make here is 3 rounds per day. In a working day that we estimate of at least 9 hours, if not 12 hours, 3 rounds per day is very, very easily achievable. In fact, we've also tested this in environments where we've been able to achieve 5 rounds. Basically, the important fact here is whatever numbers we are seeing on the screen is on the assumption of 3 rounds per day. If this becomes 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, it gets much, much better. Therefore, the social entrepreneur, the operator, is incentivized to work in his or her benefit. The primary beneficiary of this from the operations side remains the individual social entrepreneur. And this is something that needs to be understood. You know, it's very difficult for somebody to be in a job and to be able to have, you know, there are no dynamics involved over there. It's very, very consistent. But in this particular case, one can really harness their own skill sets. If we actually break this down further, and I'm going very, very deep into this sheet because I want people to understand, all of you to understand the rationale behind 1800 liters. Our assumption here is the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation has always said that the per capita consumption is 8 to 10 liters per day in India, which is for drinking and cooking. That is their number. So if there is a family of 4 to 5 people, the consumption could be anywhere from 40 to 50 liters. We are saying that we are right now assuming 20 liters. We're not even assuming 40 to 50 liters of drinking water. This is potable water that is used for drinking and cooking. ये हर घर जल की बात हो रही है. ये transit passenger को की प्यास बुझाने की बात नहीं हो रही है. Now, if we talk about 1800 liters, we break this up into 20 liters per household, we are talking about effectively 90 households. We are saying to every entrepreneur, can you identify 90 houses that you can deliver water to every day? It will literally become like a beet route. You just have to go there in cookie cutter mode and deliver to 90 homes. If you can deliver water to 90 homes without having to even look for your consumer, you know who your consumers are on a captive basis. They've got RFID cards. The level of efficiency of dispensing, procurement, and offtake will eventually become so high that you may start with 90 households, but perhaps you can even eventually nudge it up over 3 months to 150 households. And that is where the efficiency and the motivation of the individual operator comes in. We are talking about a breakup here that even with 3 rounds, with the financing being made available, with a 20% down payment, the break even of that operator is in 6 to 8 months. I dare say it is a lot lower, but we are not taking the very, very optimistic situation here. We are saying there will be a lockdown, kabhi COVID hoga, kabhi kuch hoga. There will always be force majeure situations around which the operations are going to get face some stuff. But 6 to 8 months, they can comfortably break even as far as their invested capital is concerned. And then there is a project run of at least 5 years, if not more. We are now talking to certain state governments where the operation will be run for 7 years. Some want it to be committed by us for 9 years, 10 years. And we are happy to make that commitment. But the good news is that becomes the runway for the operator as well. आप अपना काम कीजिए, गाड़ी के मालिक आप हैं. So it is not that you are there in any other capacity. You become, and then we are always working to identify people from within the community to work in that community and to serve that community. So therefore, we are not talking about airdropping people from one state into another state and vice versa. The intention is to basically create a familiarity, create a comfort. That person should become the go-to person tomorrow. कि बेटा शाम को आ रहे हो, एक काम करना, आते आते मेरे लिए कुछ दवाई भी ले आना. Now all of these will become other, the emotional quotient will also kick in, and those services will also yield some kind of revenue for them. And that is not something that we are assuming here at all. We are not assuming in this advertising revenue. Advertising is a very big avenue on this. The one wall of the WOW, one side, as you can see on this, the right-hand side, on one side, let us say the branding is done for the company. On the other side, there is Unilever, Procter & Gamble, any of these, a shoe company, it could be a detergent company, it could be insurance companies, it could be any other company in the world could actually advertise over there, which is a source of revenue, which will also be shared with the, so at the company at the central level is going to make sure that we are able to get these advertising contracts or agreements in place. And the revenues are very transparently also shared with the operators. Therefore, as long as you keep your operation alive, there is going to be the several avenues for revenue. There are also value added. We are not even talking all this that I'm saying. We've not included in the numbers at all. We are just talking about the bare bone numbers here, where the earnings can easily be 16,000 rupees. Let us further discount this. I am saying to be very, very judicious in our estimates. 12,000 rupees, 14,000 rupees, bade aaram se somebody can earn. So this is what we spoke about, the automobile giants, SSS, which is sales, service, and spares. This is a very important module. People have often asked us, "Ki Parag ji, aap itna bolte ho, aap, wow hai, ye hai, 3-4 saal se aap bole chale ja rahe ho. How many have you commissioned so far?" And we keep, so we've maintained a very dignified silence simply because it's not possible to explain all the finer nuances of implementing a project such as this on the ground. But today I want to say that it was always impossible for us to even commission 20 vows and then support those vows by way of the SSS. Because that is not our capability, that is not our wherewithal. Tomorrow if there's a tire puncture, tomorrow when the servicing is due, tomorrow when the shock absorbers have to be changed, if the windscreen cracks and needs to be changed, who was going to be repairing it? We didn't have that capability. We always needed the support of an automobile company, an automobile giant who has a pan-India footprint, a very wide footprint of service centers, a very wide footprint and of maintaining spares at the local level. Therefore, because the operations have to be sustainably run. And that is where we were very, very, I say, fortunate, and we are very grateful to the companies like Bajaj Auto and Kinetic Green. Bajaj Auto collaborated with us, and we collaborated with Bajaj Auto for their CNG vehicles, which is, we are using their Maxima Cargo chassis, which is a time-tested, proven chassis, extremely robust, tough, and it's a Bajaj, which is always Hamara Bajaj. So, Bajaj on one side, Kinetic on the other, needs no introduction. They are very strong in the electric vehicle segment. They've committed a lot of support to us there, and with them, we are now, this is where they become, they've enabled, these associations have now enabled us to start thinking about large-scale implementations, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 vehicles. Because what will also happen is they are willing to follow us into the environments where we are implementing. So let us say we go into West Godavari, we go into Eluru in Andhra Pradesh, where they may not have a service center locally, but their commitment towards us is, we love this cause so much. We want to be part of this entire mission. We are willing to follow the projects, create local service centers, create local consumables. We'll appoint a dealer distributor over there if we have to, so that we can support this and be the first line, extend the first line support to the operators. So when something like this happens, we know that this concept is now ripe to turn into reality. Before this, it was always going to be a risk. So if we as a company, I want to highlight this specifically, if we as a company had even done 50 vows, which we could have done 50 vows in Ghaziabad, in Noida, in Delhi, in Pune, any one pocket. We believe that we would have cannibalized this concept, and we would have possibly done it a disservice, because we would have not have been able to support it suitably for it to be able to run sustainably. So, you know, on the left you see over here there was a massive press release issued, and it appeared in all forms of press when we inked our, collaboration with Bajaj Auto. The principal scientific advisor to the Prime Minister's office also put a tweet out about us, about how this one line, I think this was one of the most well-worded lines, where they said very clearly what the application is. Benefits of the vow, I think everybody, it's very important to understand that for us, water is not a product. Water is a medium. It's a medium of change. Job creation, skill development, vocational training, upskilling, all of these will be programs run by the government by us as a company in a circular manner. Women empowerment, children can go to school instead of fetching water for their households. Improved health and wellness. Eliminating single-use plastic, or taking away the interface of plastic from water completely. Water conservation, at every step we're going to be working to minimize reject water, where we have to use those kind of technologies. But one way or the other, there is always going to be a larger ecosystem that is going to be supported through this project.
With this, Dr. Parag Agrawal ends the presentation, and it was a very, very enriching talk. Dr. Parag, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
I think it's a very, very important and a big step towards the Atmanirbhar mission of India.
Absolutely.
It rings a very true bell, especially in today's society where everybody is struggling for livelihoods, especially at the micro level with the impact of the COVID pandemic. So I hope we are able to do the twin benefits to the sector by utilizing the existing capacities of the water ATMs so that all the sector partners can use it. And secondly, we are able to give safe water and livelihoods to the communities whom we serve.
You gave that opportunity. You were saying like anybody, it's just not Bajaj and the green light. It can be anybody tomorrow, Dr. Parag. I'm hearing you loud and clear. That can actually be appealed and excited to come and join hands. And if you ask me, if I was a corporate, I would have cut down the phone and just jumped and basically made the next flight to reach to you. So I think, Dr. Parag, overall, this gives us all the dimensions. Poonamji has been collating all these details for the simple reason that we want others to emulate. We want others to emulate what Dr. Parag is saying. We want to emulate what others in the Seva partnerships are actually doing, so that it basically strengthens the government of India's capacity building for not just making water reach to the poorest and the people who need, but also to give messaging. I think what you provide, Dr. Parag, is this three sides of your scooter as well as other vehicles as means of telling people something's on the move. Not everything is static. People move, people are not static. So how about this beautiful idea that you're basically capturing, that you see one thing at one time and you see another thing at another time. So overall, great. I've always been proud to be part of the Seva program. It's an honor and it's a privilege to basically lead the team. As I always say, I am a team member, so I think the others are leading it in their own respective way. I'm really proud. Well done, Poonamji. Well done, Dr. Parag. Look forward to basically seeing others basically make their cases as compulsive as you have done, Dr. Parag. You have made the bar stand real high. Thank you again.
And now let's open the floor to the participants for questions. I have a first question from Drinkville. Mr. Sudeep wants to know what is the potential of Janajal Wow in rural market of India?
It's thank you for the question. We believe that the highest potential of the Janajal Wow lies in rural India, lies in the rural side, because that is where people are really strapped for availability. accessibility, and affordability. Even if it is affordable, but if it is not accessible, it's of no use. If it's available, but if it's not accessible, it's of no use. If it's accessible, but its availability is suspect, it is not being done properly. It's the quality is not known. The trust deficit that people have towards one of the problems that the water sector is faced with is the opacity in the water sector. People don't know what they're drinking, whether it is genuinely safe or it's not. How can we get rid of that and infuse the confidence in the minds of the consumer? Therefore, उनको ये लगता है कि हम पैसा देके दूषित पानी खरीदें, उससे तो हम मुफ्त में दूषित पानी पी लें. So the trade-off in their mind is so simple. We've got to go and mitigate that. And that is where the rural applications are far more impactful and incisive.
A second question, a follow-up to this is from Dr. Hemant, who questions whether this scheme can be well developed in non-notified slum pockets where there is no piped water access.
Absolutely, it can. Hemant, it's a great question. It's a great point you've raised. I mean, the city of Delhi has about 800 Jhuggi Jhopadis on record. And these alone do not qualify for piped water connections. So despite all the intent, they will never get the Nal Se Jal. So they need to be beneficiaries of the Har Ghar Jal program. That is because they are citizens. They have the right to water. So that's how this program is most relevant.
Another question from Aparna Dhawan. How do you ensure quality of water once it is on your auto?
So that's where the technology and the technology and the synchronization of the digital footprint always working and getting captured takes place. So the UID of the water treatment plant and the UID of the WOW are always talking to each other and talking to the back end. We know exactly at what time which WOW has collected water from which water plant. At that point in time, what was the TDS, what was the pH level, what was the quality, what was the quantity. All of this, we are now, so we are, I want to take this opportunity to even very quickly spell out. We are now moving towards implementing blockchain. We want to create immutable ledgers. And then every batch is going to have its own QR code. And that QR code is going to give people access to the immutable data that they can verify. What was the source of water? When was it treated? When was it filled? And when it was delivered to their doorstep. So we are moving very, very rapidly on the technology curve.
And now this is the last question. What are the licenses required by the distributor to distribute this water? And have we done time and motion studies on expenses related to operations and maintenance of the auto?
Yes. So the first part, what are the licenses required? The licenses typically, all the possible. So again, the automobile partners, they ensure that the vehicles are always compliant with the road safety, with the traffic authorities. As far as dimensions are concerned, it's not that you can take a vehicle and you can pile up 2,000 liters on it. Even if the body can withstand it, if it's not roadworthy, because tomorrow it will disqualify on the insurance side. So all these aspects are calibrated and they're absolutely overseen by under their guidance. With all honesty, we don't understand as much as they do, obviously, which is where their value add comes in further. Besides that, I think it's more about getting the validation of the project from the local stakeholders on the public side, the public bodies. So whether it is the panchayat, whether it is the municipal corporation, whether it is the collector's office, whether it is water remains a public owned utility and managed utility. So at every point in time, we are compliant as far as getting all those permissions and having all those approvals are concerned. So we've done the time and motion studies, and in fact, the companies are also willing to support through comprehensive service contracts. What we have estimated is that the average maintenance cost, just the maintenance cost, average maintenance cost on a daily basis will be less than 100 rupees. So that can very easily be absorbed in the entire scale of the operation as we are envisioning. So it is the time and motion studies for that have been done. Conversations are active, and at scale we are aiming to bring this down to even possibly 50 rupees on a per day basis. Therefore, every 10 rupees, every 30 rupees, every 50 rupees that is residual, it only adds up as to the bottom line of to the earnings of that social entrepreneur.
So thank you so much, Dr. Parag, for the session and for handling the questions. With this, I would like Mr. Anand Rudra to give the thank you note.
Thank you, Poonamji. Thank you, Dr. Parag. Thank you all the participants for their lively questions and the responses, Dr. Parag. There may be some questions that may not have been responded the way they want. So I basically feel Dr. Parag as well as Poonamji may respond to them post this event. But keep the questions flowing, keep the queries coming, because I think that is where I think we will be strengthened to know that you are listening to us. You are understanding what we are trying to tell, and you're taking our word to other places. Once again, this is just the beginning. Look out for more things to come up in the future from Seva, the series of entrepreneurs and efforts such as Dr. Parag. We look forward to more experience sharings like what we heard today. Great work, well done. Look forward to hear more.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It's such a pleasure and privilege to be here. Thank you once again, everybody, for your time and for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.